What's up, guys? Welcome into it. Oh, man. Hey, we are ready for a Thursday, baby. Welcome into the show. Trying to get all the live streams up and going here. So hang tight. Is today really Thursday? The pre-Friday. Happy pre-Friday. There we are. All right, guest. I'm typing as I talk. There we go. Boy, do we have a lot to talk about. Bottom of the hour today, Mark Burrell. He is the author of the latest book, Rediscovering America. We'll have him on the program. Can we salvage? Can we save?
2 minutes.
That's the one.
Till broadcast.
What are you guys up to? Yeah, welcome. Howdy. Howdy. Anybody watch the show King of the Hill? Howdy. All right. Mark Burrell's going to join us at the bottom of the hour as we talk about revival of American culture. Can we bring it back? The roadmap to restoring America. We have that. Plus, we have Joe Biden proposing his federal budget today. Oh, yes, the release. Congress already said they're not really going to do a whole lot with it, but why does he do it in the first place? So there's some opportunity, potentially, of the show having a little bit more time, which would be really nice. Wouldn't that be nice?
1 minute till broadcast.
All right, our timing's off just a little bit. I got a little bit of a late start, so don't worry about the countdown. Don't worry about that. We're going to fade that out here momentarily.
30 seconds till broadcast.
Well, we're not quite there, but welcome in. All right, if you are watching, welcome aboard. Like it out, share it out, leave a comment. Let's have some fun today. Got a big show lined up. Hang tight.
Fighting for freedom every day.
Republicans right now, the conservatives, which unfortunately, this is what we have to do every time, even after a vote where people are sick and tired of the establishment, they're sick and tired of the squeezy, middle-of-the-road, squishy kind of Republican rhinos, and we vote conservatives in, then we have to fight tooth and nail in D.C. to actually be heard within the Republican Party.
This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Darn right it is. Welcome into the program. What's up? It is a pre-Friday celebration, the greatest day of the entire week. I don't care what anyone says. Let's carpe diem all over this place, baby. And boy, do we have a lot to talk about today. Welcome in. It is the Voice of Reason. I am Andy Hooser, broadcasting live out of the heart of the nation here in Wichita, Kansas on our flagship radio station. We are all over the country, radio, TV, live streaming, podcasting on multiple places, multiple stations all over. Thanks for hanging out. Your Millennial General reporting for duty like we do every single day. Boy, do we have a lot to talk about today. I did not know that Joe Biden took as many steroids as he did today. And on a semi-regular basis, maybe now at least. He's got to get his name out there again. I mean, he's trying to keep his poll ratings up to at least where they're at, which are still the low 40s, but he's still got to keep them up there, right? He was on the campaign trail today going to Philly and talking about how much of a connection he has to Philadelphia today as he officially released his federal budget proposal for 2024. And boy, did he make a fool of himself. He spoke for, hold on, I have the entire audio right here. We're not going to play all of it, for God's sake, but 53 minutes, man. Outside of the State of the Union, I did not know he could speak for a total of 53 minutes, although much of it was really telling stories about his dad and mumbling. It was horrible. If anybody was there, they would have fallen asleep, and they probably did. The whole 10 people, by the way, that were there, if you listen to the audio of the speech, according to CNBC, now I get it. The microphone's there. You don't always hear the crowd, but you had like 3 people that continue to hoot and holler. Everybody else, yay. 10 people were showing up, and he showed up at some plant. there in Philadelphia. We'll get to that here in just a minute. Bottom of the hour, we have Mark Burrell. He is author of the book Rediscovering the American Covenant, Roadmap to Restore America. We'll talk about ways that we can restore America as we've gone down the road the last few days regarding ways to fight back on what Washington, D.C. is doing, trying to at least keep a little bit of our privacy, at least keep a little bit of our freedom, and actually fight back and push back on what even both Republicans and Democrats today are doing. I want to start here, though, because I don't quite grasp it. I was not even aware of it until yesterday. I was on another podcast program last night, which if you go to my personal private page on Facebook and find me at Andy Hooser, you can friend me on there. I friend just about anybody as long as I have a couple mutual friends. If not, then at least send me a note and be like, I'm a listener, not some weird like bot on Facebook. But you can friend me, and I'm more than welcome to. I love having new friends on there because you're all my friends and family. Oh, isn't that cute? I didn't even know about this issue until yesterday, but apparently Donald Trump's been on the campaign trail and talking about freedom towns and how he wants to build these new towns and how we were going to pay more people to have kids and how we're going to bring family units together and how we're going to do all this and we're going to use all this, wasteland in California, all this open area, and we're just going to build all these new freedom towns, which is a little weird. Let's be honest, just a little bit strange. If that's what you want to do, then I guess cool, but that's a little weird to me. Then you have Elon Musk, according to the Wall Street Journal, building a Texas utopia where he wants to build a town for all of his workers at Tesla and the other companies that he has that are in the area. He wants to build an actual town to where the workers, the employees for his companies, can just go and live there and then just work right there. Kind of weird. I don't know what to think about these. These are kind of like the whole 15-minute towns that are concerned that's going on in the Middle East where they're building, where you just live there and you don't have to go more than a 15-minute walk to go to work or to go to the grocery store or to do anything. It's all about convenience. It's about confining people. And then it's about just letting the rest of the earth just do its own thing. And it's been kind of a popular trend over the last year or two, at least on social media, especially TikTok, that they're trying to ban conveniently right now, where they're talking about making these things happen. Now, is that really what we've come to in society? Is just a town of convenience? We already have convenience, at least I think. Now, I live about a half hour away from the radio studio, right? About 30 to 40 minutes. And I enjoy it. I get to pump myself up for the day, what I'm going to do. I'm going to get this done. Here's the outline of my day. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be great. You're going to do a good job today. Yeah. You got to get yourself pumped up throughout the day. Then on the way home, I'm like, man, that was an awesome day, or man, that was rough, but we got this. And then you calm yourself down. By the time you get home, you don't have any stress from work. You can actually enjoy the family. You've already kind of worked out your issues. You've played some really heavy, angry music to relieve all that pent-up stress and frustration. And you feel wonderful 40 to 45 minutes later when you pull in the driveway and you're like, hey, family, how's it going? I love that. I love it. I love my drive. I've always been a guy that wants to do road trips. Just get in the car and just go and disappear and drive. I absolutely love it. These little towns, man, these utopias. I don't know what Donald Trump's thinking with doing these freedom towns. To me, that doesn't make any sense. And using, by the way, eminent domain to consume the land for federal land to build towns on it, to put people in, sounds a little not very conservative or Republican. But at the same time, you have to remember Donald Trump is not a conservative. He's a populist, and he sees a real estate opportunity to where he's just throwing things out there, I think, personally, trying to generate some activity and some conversation around his campaign that has not gained as much momentum as the way he did when he kicked off his run in 2016. So with all that being said, I find that very strange that now we're just having multiple people out there talking about trying to build little utopian towns to have their own clique of people want to go and hang out at. And I don't know that I'm okay with that. We don't like segregation from the other side. We criticize them doing black onlys in certain dorm rooms at college and all this resegregation that we're seeing from the other side of the aisle. Ideologically, even though I think the other side's complete mad, I don't know that I would want to segregate myself away, because then we would, remember, when you don't understand them, then you want to fear them. When you fear them, then you hate them. When you hate them, you want to attack them. And we're not going to go down that road long-term in society, generations from now. Just my observation to kick off the program here on a Thursday. Welcome into it.
What's trending today?
I would be curious to see if people agree or disagree with on me, which you can email me, HoosierMediaNetwork@gmail.com, and you can let me know. That's an interesting concept, for sure. Let's get into the big topic of the day. Obviously, Joe Biden was on the campaign trail today, mumbling his way through a 53-minute speech on his budget proposal. Republicans in the House of Representatives have already said, ain't going to fly. While he's out there talking about the way that we get the economy going again is spending more money and investing in more social programs and wiping out debt for a lot of individuals while attacking Republicans all at the same time.
Another big disagreement with my MAGA Republicans, and by the way, this ain't your father's Republican Party. There's a lot of really good Republicans. There really are. But they're afraid to step out of line because they'll get primaried and they'll lose elections. MAGA Republicans, they don't want things that particularly are going to help working families like healthcare, education, public safety, which are going to raise costs on folks. Look, MAGA Republicans also refuse to raise a single penny in new taxes on the wealthiest people.
Okay, that's just a portion of the stupid that we had to hear earlier today. And oh, yes, I have all 53 minutes of it on audio, and I listened to the entire thing today, and it drove me absolutely mad. Now, he used some of the old adages that he's lied about during the State of the Union, how he created 12 million jobs, how, the economy is doing so great. The fascinating part, though, that is kind of the new twist on the economic front from Joe Biden and the Democrats right now is somehow how government investment into forcing a price of a product to be lower is somehow saving you money. And while some that are looking at the surface level and can't see past their nose on the front of their face, sure, that sounds great. If the government's covering the price, for example, let's say insulin, if they're forcing the pharmaceuticals to not charge more than $35 because they're going to subsidize it, then they're like, hey, that's great. That's $35 capped. We're not going to spend $200, $300, $400 for this medication that I need. It's awesome. Government's taking care of me. Government lowered the price. And I've said this many times before, so we're going to say it again and reiterate it for the other side of the aisle, that it's not actually cutting the price of the product. It's subsidizing the product by you only covering $35 for the insulin, but the rest of the cost is actually going towards the government. Now, how does the government pay for it? They use the nice little credit card that they have that's the apparently the infinite amount with no type of cap on it or debt limit, and they continue to swipe it. And where do they get that money to pay on it? Your taxpayer money. So you're still paying for it. You're just not paying for it up front. You're just paying for it on the back end with your nice little taxes that he wants to continue to increase. Now, he said he wants to lower taxes, but he wants to raise taxes on those making, $400,000 or higher. The arbitrary line that continues to move every year depending on administration. Obama said 200 to 250. Joe Biden saying 400,000. But what's actually in this bill that he proposed today where he says that we're cutting near $2.5 trillion over the next 10 years, and he wants to raise taxes on the rich individuals. I'm not sure how that makes a whole lot of sense, but what exactly is in this bill? Let's go to the horse's mouth, a.k.a. CNN, who's just the puppet for the Biden administration. Number one, what's in the Biden's budget proposal? Placing a minimum tax on the evil billionaires, including a 25% minimum tax on all income of the wealthiest 0.01% of Americans, including their appreciated assets. It would hit those with a net worth of more than $100 million. Hold on, wait a second. I thought they were billionaires. No, worth $100 million with their net worth. Okay, so it's not billionaires. It's millionaires that are worth $100 million. Let's be clear here. That's not a billionaire. Number two, increase the corporate tax rates. Of course, raising it up to 28%, up from the 21%. Repealing Trump's tax cuts on the wealthy. Well, you would be doing that if you rose taxes, dummy, but I'm glad that you made that a separate point here on the CNN article. Restore the enhanced child tax credit. There it is. It's back. The universal basic income, the child tax credit is back as the budget calls for reviving the expanded child tax credit, beefing up the child tax credit from the current, It would beef the credit up to $3,600 per child under the age of 6 and $3,000 for older children. I believe that right now is $2,500. Which then they would then turn around and say, well, we need to actually put that into the account of individuals automatically again and just direct download it into. Here's the crazy part, again, why it's not a child tax credit. According to CNN, they openly admit it. It would permanently make the credit fully refundable so more low-income families would qualify. You don't even have to hit the threshold for it in order for you to get that tax credit. It would just be automatic to you. Improving Medicare's finances by investing more money into Medicare. Shocker, $35 insulin for Americans. reducing prescription drug costs for seniors. Again, not actually lowering the cost by deregulating, but just subsidizing it through your taxpayer money. So you feel, it's all about feelings, not about facts, you feel like you're getting some type of relief in some way, shape, or form. Make enhanced Obamacare subsidies permanent. They openly say, we're just going to subsidize these things and make it actually happen on a permanent basis. Increase food security, reduce maternal mortality, lower Medicaid spending. That's an interesting one. The budget would require private insurance companies that provide Medicaid coverage to pay back some money when they charge the program far more than they actually spend on patient care. If they're cutting back on investing in statewide Medicaid programs, doesn't that shoot down the entire Obamacare plan, where we're supposed to expand Medicaid and the government's going to cover up to 90% of the expense at the state level? I thought that was the whole plan. The government's going to cover it. Now they're going to cut back on their Medicaid spending, but they're going to continue to expand the Obamacare programs. Make college more affordable by increasing the $500 increase to maximum Pell Grants, aka subsidizing higher education, universal preschool and affordable childcare, provide paid family and medical leave, address climate change and military defense along with support for the Ukraine. In fact, actually, this bill lowers spending on the military, but they say it's a 3.2% increase. It's actually not. It's actually a little bit of a decrease overall in our military spending while we have ongoing conflicts and more conflicts that could be potentially arising. Social programs good. Self-defense and national defense bad. That's the Biden administration. Republicans better not cower on this one and allow some type of this version to go through in any way, shape, or form. Lots more to get to. Stay here.
This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Andy Hooser here, reminding you not only can you listen to the Voice of Reason on your favorite radio station, but also check out the video of the program on TV and online. We're excited to be working with our partners over at OpsLens to bring the Voice of Reason live every day on their website at opslens.com, on the OpsLens app that you can download on any of your smartphones, or on any of the OpsLens social media. It's a great network that broadcasts multiple shows promoting truth, reason, and common sense, reaching thousands of viewers every day, all day long. Plus, while you're there, you can always watch some of the best highlights of the show during the weekends or read our latest opinion columns on topical issues of the day. Also, if you want to interact with me during the program, just leave a comment on their social media or the OpsLens app stream. You can always join the live chat rooms, or if it's easier, just email me at HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com. Again, that's HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com. This is your show, and we want to hear from you. Why? Because it's time for you to be your own voice of reason in your own community. Looking for more reason? Well, now you can get even more content from the Voice of Reason through our Patreon site. It's your exclusive membership for being the ultimate Hoosier-holic. On our Patreon, you'll get additional interviews and content that we don't get to air on the radio, behind-the-scenes action from the Hoosier Media Network, plus one-on-one video streams where you can catch up with me, guests of the show, and other great Voice of Reason supporters. Plus, you can also support the show by checking out our gear and swag. Find the link on our website at HoosierReason.com. Again, that's HoosierReason.com. Become the ultimate Hoosier-holic. Hey, it's Andy Hooser. Want to reach out to the show? A big part of the program is you, and we want to hear from you. Let us know your thoughts of the show, maybe a guest we've had on the program, or my favorite, when you disagree with something that I talk about. You can email me at HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com or send us a message through our website at HoosierReason.com. The show's not about me, it's about you. So be heard and be your own voice of reason. Again, email me at HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com or find our contact information at HoosierReason.com. Hey, it's Andy Hooser with the Voice of Reason. The show's growing all the time, and as we talk about the big issues of the day, one of the big parts of the program is you. And I want you to join us on the program. Whether you agree, disagree, or just want to relieve some of that political frustration, we're here for you. No matter where you may be watching, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, go ahead and leave a comment on the live stream. Chat with other listeners and let me know your thoughts on the topic. Also chat with us on the Podbean chat room. Just go to our live stream of the show at podbean.com and chat with other listeners. You can also call into the program. Just download the Podbean app onto your smartphone, join the live stream, and call in through the app. This is your show, and we want to hear your thoughts. So go ahead and join us here on the Voice of Reason and the Hoosier Media Network. Hey, miss a show? Don't worry about it. You have plenty of opportunities to watch, listen, learn, and be entertained with the Voice of Reason anytime you want. And here's how you can do it.
First, become a Hooserholic by going to HooserReason.com and signing up for the show newsletter to get the latest on the show, upcoming guests, topical discussions, and more. Next, subscribe to the podcast and have the show automatically downloaded to any platform you like to use. You can subscribe through any of your favorite platforms with iTunes and Spotify, Google Play and TuneIn, or you can also go and subscribe directly to our Podbean website. Last, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Just go to youtube.com, search Hooser Reason, and subscribe to watch all of our shows, videos, and get notified whenever we're live. All the links and info are at HooserReason.com.
For a schedule of upcoming guests on the program, daily show topics, or to reach out to the Hooser Media Network, visit us on the website at HooserReason.com. Or for general inquiries, to be a guest on the program, or to have Andy a guest on your program, email us at HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com. Keep fighting for freedom with us every day right here on the Voice of Reason and the Hooser Media Network. Now, back to the show.
Fighting for freedom every day. This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
You know, a lot of people are saying to me that they don't like the idea I'm prepared to forgive up to $20,000 if you got a Pell Grant, or $10,000 for anybody who has a student loan during the recession. Well, guess what? We paid the so-called PPP program. We paid significant, I think it's $900 billion.
Mm-hmm.
I think, don't hold me that number, but it's well over 9. For anybody who had a tough time with their business during the pandemic. So they could pay employees, they could do but guess what? You may remember, I was running for office at the time, and you all may remember that I had a big fight with the former president and maybe future president. Bless me, Father.
Oh, my.
Anyway,
Oh, my.
All kidding aside.
What is he talking about?
And here's the deal. What happened was the folks are really going after me for trying to, and by the way, 90% of all the debt forgiveness for student loans will go to, under my plan, 90% will go to families making under $75,000 a year. Okay?
Boy, that took a long time for him to get to an actual point there. That was Joe Biden earlier today, sitting in Philly as he walked into another manufacturing plant, hold 10 people. You could hear the couple claps. Yeah. Nice little boo, little Donald Trump, the MAGA Republicans, the constant attack. He still didn't make a point of actually where he's getting the money to fund this or why it's an actual good deal, other than the fact that, well, we bailed out businesses. Why can't we bail out actual students with their student loans? Here's the problem. The student loans were there prior to the COVID-19 pandemic, and most of the PPP stuff, some of it was forgiven, others of it was not, to keep a business surviving so that way the economy doesn't crash. An individual still has an obligation to pay back debts that they had because businesses, as he goes on to say during that really long and boring and drawn-out speech that we have no clue what the hell he's trying to say, made the comment that they're investigating those who fraudulently took advantage of the PPP plan, because they were doing things they weren't supposed to do with it. If you remember, the PPP plan was for sanitary products, hand sanitizer, wipes, masks, and then it was to help cover payroll. It wasn't to pay off debt. It wasn't to get further ahead. It was to maintain your business, to be able to pay for the payroll so you didn't have to let anybody go, which a lot of people still unfortunately had to do so. That's what it was for. Not to say, oh, hey, here's a whole bunch of money. Just do what you want with it. Go ahead and pay off a debt with it that you're obligated to pay, and we're just going to wipe it away, and these aren't the droids you're looking for, and just make it all go away. It's not what it was for. That's a little weird. So he's hyping this up. I don't know. I said this yesterday. I don't really know why presidents, governors try and do a budget proposal, because the power of the purse is not with them. They have nothing to do with it, and it's not a big deal. On most of the time when they get it and Congress gets it, they crumple it up, they throw it into the request bin in the corner of the office, and they say, thank you. We're going to do our own thing. Message to Republicans right now. Stay strong. Stay steadfast. and do exactly that. Toss it into the request bin and say, thanks for your service. We're going to do our own thing. And then the battle begins because we have a Democrat-run Senate and a Republican-run House. Kind of. Although I will say, here's the optimism. The Senate right now is lacking a few individuals, with John Fetterman in the hospital right now for his depression. Then we had Dianne Feinstein that's in the hospital for an issue. Now Mitch McConnell's tripped and fell, and apparently he's got a concussion, and he's going to be in for a day or two as well. So the Senate's dropping like flies, man. I don't know what's going on in the Senate right now. But as of right now, technically, Democrats don't have as much of a control in the Senate as what they used to, and our hack wannabe pretend Republican in the Senate with Mitch McConnell, who's got the nuts that are stuck in his mouth and he can't talk very well and half drunk all the time, he's out as well. So other Republicans have an opportunity to step up and lead the party in the Senate, maybe as a career opportunity if they do very well at it, and we can actually put the Democrats in their place and stop some of this madness from actually happening. Mark Burrell on the show right after this. Stay here on The Voice of Reason.
The Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Hey, it's Andy Hooser. You know, when I get off the air every day, the battle for me against limited government, censorship, and even unfactual content is far from over. That's why now I'm so happy to say that the Hooser Media Network is giving you more opportunity to catch The Voice of Reason, along with other great shows and podcasts. It's been a long time in the works, and now you can finally enjoy more great content, services, and topical shows. We're the safe space for alternative talk, information, and ideas that the mainstream media absolutely hates, from holistic and alternative medicine, discussions on religion and spirituality, pure entertainment shows, and of course yours truly with The Voice of Reason. Plus, we offer numerous media services, including helping you set up your own podcast. Become your own Voice of Reason and bring your expertise to any fun issue or topic. For information on all of our shows, links to podcasts, each show website or social media link, or to find out about everything we do to challenge the mainstream establishment, visit our website at HooserMedia.com. Again, that's HooserMedia.com, the future of media. Welcome to the Hooser Media Network. It's been a long time coming, and now it's growing bigger and better than we ever imagined. The Hooser Media Network is so much more than just the Voice of Reason. It's a network for you as a listener and you as a podcaster. It's a network for any kind of talk on any kind of topic, bringing podcasters together to give you a new way to think about the world, and it's any type of show from entertainment to educational. Check out all of our great programs, like Dr. Devin Verana with If They Knew.
Yeah, and it gives you tangible tools. I mean, I'm sure she just mentioned that some people might be mad at the government. I just can't imagine.
No.
I think there's a little bit of anger in the world these days, but I was listening to Wayne Dyer this morning, and he said, if you grab an orange and you squeeze it, what comes out? Juice. What kind of juice? Orange juice every time, right? It's not going to be apple juice. It's never going to be mango juice. It's always going to be orange juice. So whatever is in us is going to come out when we're squeezed. And so I'm sure you're learning that, like, taking yourself through this process continually just adds more and more power, more and more depth of compassion and joy and freedom and all those good feeling things, because you're clearing that space out.
Yes, exactly.
I love it. Now take people, so for anybody listening out there that might have an object of anger, whether it's somebody or something or, you know, objects out in the world these days, take us into some tactical, practical things that they can do. Number one, I'm sure, is to come see you, but what are some other things?
So I skipped that one on purpose when I was going through this, but the first book that changed my life, and I listened to it before I signed up for the, I listened to her 1 hour Zoom before I signed up for the class. She was interviewing a man who told us about a book called The Four Agreements. And so then when you get into the class, we study the book called Forgive for Good by Fred Luskin. And we went through a process by Michael Brown called The Presence Process. These are all 3 books. And I hate to be this honest, but let me be this honest. You can read those 3 books and know everything I'm going to teach you. But like any good class, I mean, just because I signed up for a class in college, I buy the books. You really need someone to guide you through them.
That, plus tune into Spiritual Smorgasbord with Desiree and Cheyenne.
It is, and we talked about that because then, of course, other things started to happen after that. Of course, that was not my last doctor's visit by no means. However, we talked about it, and I thought, our ancestors were so smart. They know, whatever ails us, there's a cure for on this planet. We're just not smart enough to know how to use it, but our ancestors were. We need to get back to that. Modern medicine, basically what that is it is what you get from the plant, the healing benefit, just on steroids with side effects.
Yes.
And so a lot of people, modern medicine is considered sexy. It's fast resolving. It's instant gratification. But, and so like plant-based formula, the raw, natural plant-based formula is what is going to work. It's going to be great. It just takes a while. And people want that instant gratification.
Oh, yes.
So a lot of people try
It's been marketed
something.
to them that way too.
It
They're like,
has.
oh, that's the old way. It's going to take you forever. But if you just take this, you wake up tomorrow and you can have whatever you want.
Exactly.
You can do whatever you want.
But at what cost?
Yeah.
Right. I mean,
my leg is broken, but have some Oxycontin.
Yes.
It's like, dude, your leg is still severely broken. Right. You just can't feel anything.
Yeah. And it's like, so let's go to nature. Let's see.
Yeah.
You know what? There's pain relievers in nature. Marijuana is a great pain reliever.
Yes.
For one. I mean, just
mentally and physically.
Yes. Well, I mean, but there's other remedies out there. And everything that ails us, there's a cure for on this planet.
This whole room smells like peppermint.
We're all getting cured.
We're all
now.
getting cured right now. It's a beautiful essential oil I bought from a local, I guess you could say apothecary shelf, but I'm getting healed right now.
Yes, exactly. It is. And it's all around us. We just need to know how to look for it. And I'm sorry, but that's kind of what we were discussing. And that kind of was what started this whole journey. And what I'm very fortunate that, my spouse and I are together on this. It's not just one of us having a spiritual journey. It's that we're doing this together.
Listen to those shows and so much more on our website, where you can find live streaming, links to the podcast, links to social media, more content, and so much more. It's all online at HooserMedia.com.
When Reason Meets Radio. This is The Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Yes, indeed it is. Welcome back in. Reason, Common Sense, Rationale. Thanks for hanging out today for a pre-Friday celebration. Always great to have you along for the ride. We have way too much fun on the show. Sometimes we get a little glossy-eyed, go a little deep into the weeds, unveil the layers of the onion just a little bit more. But that's a good thing, isn't it? Talking about things that most other people don't, because we need to be on the up and up for the most part. Welcome back into it. We'll get back into the budget proposal from Joe Biden here in just a little bit. Tomorrow, Congressman Tracy Mann from right here in the state of Kansas, where I hail from with our flagship, he's on the western, if you draw a line down the middle of Kansas, he represents the entire western half. And he's a great guy. He's on a lot of different committees, and he will be joining us tomorrow to talk about the federal budget proposal from Joe Biden, what it all entails, and the shenanigans that they're trying to pull from the other side. Because, of course, they're trying to place the blame on Republicans of, well, we're totally willing to work with raising the debt ceiling, and Republicans totally want the debt ceiling to be crashed and us not be able to pay our debts. And for the first time ever, it's totally their fault. And we didn't add all the debt. It was debt that was accrued for more than 200 years. By the way, all that was in the speech that Joe Biden gave today in Philly when no one was really paying attention to what he had to say. So we'll get back to all that here in just a second, but there's a deeper issue here, isn't there?
What's trending today?
There's a bit of a deeper issue, and excited to have this guy on the program, Mark Burrell. He is author of the book Rediscovering the American Covenant Roadmap to Restore America. Excited to have him back on the show with us again here. Mark, how are you, my friend?
Great, Andy. It's good to be with you.
Yeah, it's great to have you back on the show. We enjoyed the chat last time you were on here. There's some deeper issues. We can bicker about the budget, which to me, budgetary issues are probably some of the most important issues, because we can squabble about social issues or other politics if we have a strong economy in a country that's actually stable. When the economy is unstable, the country's unstable, and that's kind of an issue, isn't it? But there's some deeper things going on here.
Yeah, we as a nation need to get our fiscal house in order. You just cannot keep going like we are. And of course, many of us conservatives are looking at this and feeling like not only is there just out of control spending, but you have to wonder what the motive is when we just continue to want to increase the debt limit, knowing that this gravy train cannot keep going forever.
Right. Yeah, the gravy train can't keep going. But as you talk about in your book, and as we talk about kind of the religious aspect to this, finding the family values again, reconnecting with your religious or spiritual beliefs in some way, and where we find the roots of the Judeo-Christian values here in the country, there's an attack on that by not allowing us to practice it, by not allowing us to focus on that, because they're always in turmoil. There's always some type of crisis going on, and it's I think that's what's breaking us apart right now, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, and they're using these crises to help gin up reasons to spend money, of course. And you think about our roots. Of course, we've had some significant challenges in the beginning with our monetary policy. There was a big debate in the late 1700s with should we have a national bank, and we had war debts, and we had currency that wasn't worth anything, and of course that's what led to the Constitutional Convention to try and figure out how we can solve some of that.
Yeah.
And it really wasn't until, I think, 1837, if I remember correctly, until we had achieved having no debt as a nation. Isn't that amazing to think of back then? and yet since then, we have just struggled as a nation to realize that it's our responsibility to not spend more than we're taking in.
What a wild concept. I know it's fascinating that the fact that is a concept that we have to hone in, because they're all about just trying to drive home whatever they want to spend on, because they say that it's the right thing to do. It's the Christian thing to do, to just have a whole bunch of social programs. Is that true?
That is absolutely not the case. And there's a lot of confusion about this. And this is what I cover in the book. I try and lay out, here are the principles, not only the founding principles, which are found in our Declaration of Independence, but also the operating principles that talk about how is it that government is supposed to operate. And this notion of individual accountability and responsibility is really all but lost on the progressives. And what they do is they take some passages in the New Testament, like in Acts, when they talk about the early church bringing their property and bringing their money and giving it to the disciples so that they could help people in need. That was, obviously absolutely biblical, to serve those that could not take care of themselves. But that's completely different than folks taking responsibility in order to make a living, have a vocation, provide for their family, and not be a burden on the state. And so the other thing you have to remember back then is they were under Roman rule. And so it was a lot different than the way things are now. But it's not what the Bible teaches. The Bible teaches that we should be out earning a living, getting a vocation. In fact, I recently did a search. There are like 30 different vocations mentioned in the Bible that, of course, we would recognize if you went down the list.
Right.
And so we're encouraged to do those things, but that is all lost on the modern progressive movement.
Yeah, it's kind of the teach a man to fish, you feed him for a lifetime. You feed a man to fish, you feed him for a day sort of thing. And we've lost that concept, because now, according to them, the proper thing to do is to get people on social programs, which we understand there's a more malicious intent to it, because when you get people on a social program, then they don't want to come off, or it's harder to get off. When they raised the unemployment benefits over the last few years with COVID-19, then they lowered them, and we're seeing a lot of those end by the end of this month. The media, people are losing their minds over the fact that they're not going to get as many of the SNAP benefits or unemployment benefits, or you actually have to qualify by applying to go and actually try to get a job in order to continue to remain on unemployment. The media is having a heyday with all this.
Yeah, they really are. And what's so nefarious about it is that they're encouraging dependency.
Yeah.
And from a Judeo-Christian standpoint, we're not only to have individual responsibility to take care of ourselves, it's what gives us a fulfilling life. And so when they do that, when the progressives try and continue to encourage this dependency on social programs and the government to take care of all their needs, they're robbing people of being able to pursue their God-given talents and their passions, not only to be able to take care of themselves, they don't need the government's help, but also to find things they're passionate about and to go on and benefit society from some of the wonderful innovations that we have, or creating services that help take society to the next level in terms of their standard of living. There's so many aspects of this that are just not biblical. And Christians have to get engaged, and this is the intent of my book. It's to try and help Christians understand, and really all Americans, that we have a citizenship duty. And part of that is to rein in government, especially the out-of-control spending.
Amen to that. We're talking with Mark Burrell, author of the book Rediscovering the American Covenant, Roadmap to Restore America, which you can find online at defendamericanliberty.com. Again, defendamericanliberty.com. I read a sentence, I think I asked you this last time when you were on the program, but I want to reiterate this because it's always stuck in my head for the years I've read this, that as size of government grows, then the belief in a higher power or religious views dwindle because we no longer look for the higher power to solve the issues or to give us the answer to do it ourselves or the strength to do it ourselves and figure out the solution ourselves, that instead we continue to look towards the government to do something for us. If it's a school shooting, government, get rid of the guns, do something. If there's an economic turmoil or high gas prices, president, do something. The gas prices are really high. We always look towards the government to solve our problems instead of figuring it out ourselves.
Yeah, and what you're really poking at here is this wonderful concept of self-government. This is what God wants us to do, not only to practice this in our family, our familial relationships, but we're supposed to form communities, and we're supposed to do that through a covenant. And this is the point that I make in the book, is that the title, Rediscovering the American Covenant, is about the Declaration of Independence, which I show from the Bible is how the founders actually applied biblical principles for founding a nation to the letter. And those same principles that they followed, which is to acknowledge God, to appeal to him for help, to commit, and then to declare, they're the same principles that we find in a marriage and in founding any local township or community. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
And this is a blessing to be able to do this. This is what the Bible gives us in order to be able to live in peace with our neighbor. And it's a tragedy when you think the progressives are taking away this idea that we can rise to the occasion and instead are seeding this dependency that you mentioned that is not fulfilling and is going to create a greater burden on the government. And eventually we run out of money.
Yeah, that is very true. We got just about a minute left here, Mark, as we got to let you go, and I appreciate your time. But I always make the argument here on the program that even those that may not be Christian or believe in the Bible in a certain way or that don't use that as a reference tool, that we can still make the religious or traditional value arguments that we want to through the constitutional values, through conservative values, which my three pillars are life, liberty, and the private property. As long as you don't infringe upon those and you hold on to it and make it as a basis and a reference for yourself, that we're making those religious arguments for ourselves, but through a constitutional matter, because the way they wrote the Constitution was kind of one and the same, wasn't it?
Yeah, in fact, the amazing thing about the American system of government is, while it's based on Judeo-Christian principles, you do not have to be a Christian to be a great American. You just have to agree to what you just said, which is found in the second paragraph of the Declaration. Life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness, and recognizing that there's a law of nature and of nature's God was a direct reference to the moral law summarized by the Ten Commandments. You just have to agree that you're going to abide by that. You don't have to become a Christian, which is really amazing when you think about it.
And that was the way they wanted it. Yeah, that was the way they wanted it. They wanted to create it that way.
Yeah, it allows everyone to go on their own faith journey. So it's actually enables the evangelism that the modern church says is the reason why you can't get involved in civil government. And I address that in the book, too.
Amen to that. I love it, Mark. We're out of time, my friend. Rediscovering the American Covenant, Roadmap to Restore America. Find it online, defendamericanliberty.com. Mark, it's great to talk to you again, my friend. Great conversation. Let's get you back on again soon.
Sounds good. Thanks, Andy.
Hey, appreciate it as always. We'll take one more break here, wrap up, come back here, wrap up the show for a pre-Friday celebration. Stay here.
The Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Andy Hooser here, reminding you not only can you listen to the Voice of Reason on your favorite radio station, but also check out the video of the program on TV and online. We're excited to be working with our partners over at OpsLens to bring the Voice of Reason live every day on their website at opslens.com, on the OpsLens app that you can download on any of your smartphones, or on any of the OpsLens social media. It's a great network that broadcasts multiple shows promoting truth, reason, and common sense, reaching thousands of viewers every day, all day long. Plus, while you're there, you can always watch some of the best highlights of the show during the weekends or read our latest opinion columns on topical issues of the day. Also, if you want to interact with me during the program, just leave a comment on their social media or the OpsLens app stream. You can always join the live chat rooms, or if it's easier, just email me at HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com. Again, that's HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com. This is your show, and we want to hear from you. Why? Because it's time for you to be your own voice of reason in your own community. Hey, it's Andy Hooser. You want some more reason throughout the day? Well, now it's easier than ever to find. Here's what you do. Check out the website at HooserReason.com. There you can find past shows, links to all of our social media, special features, our monthly blogs, and a heck of a lot more. Plus, make sure to check in frequently, as we're constantly working to add more goodies that you'll really enjoy. Also, you can always subscribe and follow our social media sites for bonus content, articles that we use on the show, or maybe some additional rants. Yeah, it's all that and so much more. Check it all out at HooserReason.com. Looking for more reason? Well, now you can get even more content from the Voice of Reason through our Patreon site. It's your exclusive membership for being the ultimate Hoosier-holic. On our Patreon, you'll get additional interviews and content that we don't get to air on the radio, behind-the-scenes action from the Hooser Media Network, plus one-on-one video streams where you can catch up with me, guests of the show, and other great Voice of Reason supporters. Plus, you can also support the show by checking out our gear and swag. Find the link on our website at HooserReason.com. Again, that's HooserReason.com. Become the ultimate Hoosier-holic. Hey, it's Andy Hooser. As we continue to grow as a radio and TV program, we're continuously working behind the scenes to try and bring more common sense and reason to more patriotic Americans all over the country. That's why we're super excited to be working with the OpsLens team to bring you the voice of reason every single day. OpsLens is a national online network bringing you incredible content all day from hosts all over the country. And each host brings their own unique experience and expertise to the current events, reaching hundreds of thousands of patriotic Americans daily. Make sure to check out their website at opslens.com. Make sure to download the OpsLens website and follow them on all of these social media sites that you like, so you can watch all their live streaming content, including ours right here with the Voice of Reason. Plus, if you want more of the Voice of Reason, check out our website online at HooserReason.com. There you can listen to the live audio feed of the show every single day. You can read our monthly blog. You can check out our satire infomercials. You can see pictures of what we're doing, upcoming schedule of events, and a heck of a lot more. On the website, you can find our list of radio and TV affiliates in your area. Find our social media links, and while you're there, sign up for our free newsletter. Over the last 2 years, your Voice of Reason newsletter has grown exponentially. It's completely free, and in it we give you your monthly motivation, upcoming civic holidays for the month, a recap from the show from last month, upcoming guests on the program, along with the latest news from our Hooser Media Network. It's pretty simple. All you got to do is go to the website at HooserReason.com and become the next Hoosier-holic. Finally, follow us on all of our social media sites. With the iron grip control on content from the radical left, unless you follow us, you're not going to be able to see us. It's been an ongoing battle with shadow banning on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, where even our own fans are having a hard time finding our content. But the battle isn't over. We'll continue to bring you the best content we can on as many platforms as possible. You can follow us with the handle at Hooser Reason. No matter what social media site you like to use, you can find us there. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch.tv, Instagram, TikTok, ourfreedombook.com, Parler, and of course our website at HooserReason.com. Don't miss it while we give you a heads up on some of the events that I may be attending or speaking at, updates of behind-the-scene projects, or just something sarcastic to try and rile up the left. The battle for freedom is real, and we want to be part of that battle, as we want you to be your own voice of reason in your own community. Conservative principles happen at the grassroots level, and that's what we're here to help with. And together, you and I can fight back against this virus that's spreading across the nation that is socialist policy, trying to destroy this country. We can bring us back to some constitutional values, some individual sovereignty, and the right for you to be able to make your own choices when you deem necessary for you, your family, and your community. In a world of fake news and information overload, it's time to bring back some reason, common sense, guidance, and a little bit of wisdom. And that's what we're here to do. This is the Voice of Reason.
Fighting for freedom every day. The Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Boy, oh boy, does time fly right on by. So much to talk about, so much to do, and so little time to do it. Welcome back into the program, Mark Burrell. We appreciate him coming on the show very, very much. Interesting concept, interesting perspective. As I've said so many times before on this program, I don't care what faith that you have. I don't care what you believe in. I don't care what your stance is on religion or spirituality or whatever else that you have. I really don't care. The beauty of this nation, as he mentioned and pointed out, is that while we're based in Judeo-Christian values for this nation, and our Constitution, whether some try to argue it or not, are based on a lot of Judeo-Christian values as well, understanding the concept of natural law, that there is a higher power out there in some way, shape, or form, and whatever that may be for you, does not really matter. You can believe it and however you want to, is that this country is set up for you, because as long as you abide by those simple principles that are supposed to be in our Constitution, which is life, liberty, and private property. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That's all you have. Don't harm anybody's life or put that in danger. Don't try and take away somebody's liberty to think the way they want to live the way they want to in any way, shape, or form. And don't take away their private property. If they work for something, if they hustle, that is theirs, their property, that is theirs that they have created. That is the blood, sweat, and tears they put in for themselves. And don't take that away from somebody. No raiding and pillaging here in the country, although there is right now from the government and from the elites going on in Washington, D.C., which is unfortunate. The good news is, as I say, I'm always the eternal optimist, is that the house of cards is beginning to crumble. The transparency is finally starting to come out, and we're starting to finally understand the truth of what's going on. The Kevin McCarthy still getting a lot of heat from the whole releasing of the videos from January 6th. Tucker Carlson having a heyday the last few days. Apparently his ratings are up near 6 times higher than CNN, which is absolutely insane. I'm surprised they're not on a normal basis as well, but they've skyrocketed at this time while he's talking about this January 6th issue. And Kevin McCarthy sitting down with Breitbart News and saying he has no regrets in releasing these videos and more to come.
Well, this is all about transparency, and it won't just be to Tucker. Like any news organization, different people get exclusives. We watched during the January 6th, CNN would have exclusives all the time, and nobody complained. CNN actually got to be in the Statuary Hall for a whole hour for their own show. You've watched that January 6th would release only certain tapes. I think it's better for transparency that anyone can make their own decision up. And as we walk through these are many more hours of tapes than the January 6th committee told us. It's not 14,000, it's 42,000 hours. We want to make sure for security purposes, or certain exits aren't shown and others. But you know the most interesting thing, when I sat down, when I had the team talk to the Capitol Police about making sure they had no problems with the exodus showing, they said January 6th never asked them that. They showed the exit of the vice president. They showed the exit from my office. They literally had then Speaker Pelosi's daughter showing the secure location that they take the leadership. That's not supposed to be known to anybody, and CNN reported it. And I don't remember the press ever getting upset with that. So what we want to do is make sure we have this out that everybody can see it.
What a concept. Now, I wish we would apply that to other things as well. We're getting better. It's taken a long, slow process, but it's getting better. And I, again, tip my hat off to Kevin McCarthy because he is not letting us down from what we were concerned about him potentially doing as Speaker of the House. We have some big battles ahead, and I think that we could have him kind of waver on some issues. But when it comes to this might be an easy one. You know, toss this out, keep the Republicans happy, you know, keep the right side of the aisle in favor of him as we get into some pretty hefty battles moving forward. But I applaud him for this because this is what we need to do. I've said many times before, heck, we could do a GoFundMe and we could buy a laptop and a webcam to go into every different committee room in the chambers across the board in Washington, D.C., in every agency, in every department, put up a webcam, hook it up to a laptop, and live stream it on YouTube or C-SPAN or whatever the hell we want to do, and just listen to everything they're talking about. Then, if we do something like that, there would be no more backdoor deals. We could hear the conversations on how the bills even get to the floor, and I think that would be pretty entertaining to watch, and we could hold them accountable for the ridiculousness that goes on in Washington, D.C. The fact that Democrats were holding on to these videos and only letting go select pieces, and the security people were like, oh, yeah, they never even asked us. The investigation on January 6th that was trying to get to the bottom of it never even asked for the full 42,000 hours of video. And yet, here you go. Kevin McCarthy, here you go. Do your thing, baby. Whatever you want. As long as you don't show any, like, super secret stuff on where we can protect ourselves if, God forbid, a terrorist attack, have at it. And it's releasing it to the public. I know you're sick and tired of hearing about January 6th, but it's the tipping point Between that and the COVID origin committees right now, and the investigation on Hunter Biden, and the investigation on Joe Biden, and the investigation on Hillary Clinton, and the investigation on everything the Democrats are doing right now, the cards are beginning to fall, and the truth is starting to come out, and I'm kind of happy about that. That does it for us today. Podcast up in a bit. Back at it tomorrow for a Friday. To wrap up the week, we got a big one lined up. Until then, be your own voice of reason. This is the Voice of Reason. I'm Andy Hooser. We'll see you on the radio tomorrow. See ya. Hey, it's Andy Hooser. You know, when I get off the air every day, the battle for me against limited government, censorship, and even unfactual content is far from over. That's why now I'm so happy to say that the Hooser Media Network is giving you more opportunity to catch the Voice of Reason along with other great shows and podcasts. It's been a long time in the works, and now you can finally enjoy more great content, services, and topical shows. We're the safe space for alternative talk, information, and ideas that the mainstream media absolutely hates. From holistic and alternative medicine, discussions on religion and spirituality, pure entertainment shows, and of course yours truly with the Voice of Reason. Plus, we offer numerous media services, including helping you set up your own podcast. Become your own Voice of Reason and bring your expertise to any fun issue or topic. For information on all of our shows, links to podcasts, each show website or social media link, or to find out about everything we do to challenge the mainstream establishment, visit our website at HooserMedia.com. Again, that's HooserMedia.com, the future of media.